I show them the right link then?
Yeah, it's the same link. I just had to do it from
It is the same link.
Yeah, I just had to do it from Chrome as opposed to Safari. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is the same link. Okay. All right.
Hello, saints. I know.
Saints of
God. We...
Batman versus the Dark Knight. Pin message.
Rated.
Ain't nobody on here, but
go back to my page. And tell everybody. Let's tell everybody on our Instagram.
Right now.
Friends,
right now.
Come and talk to us.
Y'all know y'all want to. Not us singing two different songs.
Okay, got it.
Not us singing two different songs.
Friends, come meet us over on.
Hey, Saints of God.
On what's it called?
YouTube. Fred, get it together.
We're going live. We're talking about that new Batman movie, so you should come talk to us right now.
You should immediately.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Friends.
Oh wait, is someone in here?
Hey, one person. Is it my mom? I'm cracking it.
It probably is. Is that the same person that liked it? Oh, I love your mom. Such a support. Can we see? Oh, we can't see who the live is?
I don't think so.
We can't see who in here?
I don't know.
How do you just the fact that it's not full screen is totally bothering me. I don't know why. Oh, okay. I was like, the space behind it. That's the one. I'm like OCD about that. I don't know why. Hey, one person.
Hey.
It's Lizzie. Hey, Lizzie.
How you know?
She texted me.
Oh. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey, Lizzie.
Hey, friend.
Hey, friend.
We're going to talk in 5 seconds. I'm going to give 3 people to get in. Oh, they left.
Not 3 people.
We've been good to me.
There will be spoilers. So if you don't want to know, this will be posted on our page.
If you don't want to know, you should probably exit or watch it and come back and watch the Jones.
Spoilers will be had. Will be spoken.
Spoiler will be spoiled? Oh.
I said spoilers will be spoken.
Oh.
Not spoiled.
Spoilers will be spoiled.
They will be.
Okay.
This movie. Oh. Why won't it let her comment? It won't let me comment.
Are you logged in, friend? Are you logged in?
Is that the only way you can comment? You have to log in? Oh.
I mean, if she's looking at it, she can see. Friend, gotta log in. Hey, friend. All right, we need to start in like a minute.
We can talk about it and then just post it.
Yeah. Who cares if y'all not in here? Talk to us.
Talk to us and comment on stuff.
That's all right. Y'all probably like, what's happening? What are they talking about over there?
You have to log into comment. Lizzie, I'm texting you back. Oh, somebody else joined in.
We got 2 people.
That's right.
They want to talk to us.
Yes, they do. I'm not a singer. Yeah.
That was good, friend. That was a good ending.
It's the support for me.
I be trying, you know.
It's the support for me. This will not be long, people.
Yeah, because
Hey, Liz. Oh, hey, friend. Hey. This will not be long.
Yes.
We're gonna get in and out by 4:00. That is the plan. One also because Chloe has
got somewhere to go.
Got somewhere to be. Me, I have somewhere to be too.
I'm sick.
On this beautiful Saturday. I feel like it's just so nice outside that I'm just like, I hate to like go home.
I know. I'm like, hey girls, let's go and walk, on the beach. I'm gonna live near a beach.
You don't live near a beach, and I would ask this girl she want to go get ice cream, but Fran got something to do.
We get ice cream at 8:30.
Why are we getting ice cream at 8:30?
Because that's what I'm doing.
That's how long your meeting is?
I know.
3 hours? 4?
It works, yeah.
We are not getting. I'd be asleep at 8:30. I thought she was gonna say we get ice cream at 5 o'clock. And I would be like, all right, bet. I'll just wait. No.
Sorry.
It's just so nice outside, guys.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get started. We're gonna talk to you, Liz.
No, I'm sick. Cough. Don't be sick.
We're gonna talk to you, Liz, but it's okay that hopefully other people will join us as we talk about Gotham City's darkest.
Yes. Batman.
Is that the theme song for
Batman? I don't think so, but I thought it was good, and so I went with it.
You know what? I support that. I support you in all you're doing.
Thank you.
We are going to talk about the Batman. Okay, we saw it on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
We waited, and guys, I did this just for you. I don't wait to see movies.
She don't. She be there as soon as they're like,
take it
out, and she's in theater.
I literally am. That's how I do when it comes to these types of movies, because I want to be there opening weekend. That's how I do movies.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the premiere outfits were lit. They were cute though. They was killing the game. And I waited though because we wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to see this movie because there will be spoilers. Yes. So we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about the movie, our expectations, and if it lived up to it. And then what we're going to do is compare the Batman to the Dark Knight. Dun, 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 or not. I don't know. I don't know if you want to do the dun, dun, dun or not. But first, our expectations. Sis.
Yes.
What was your expectations about this movie? And please tell Liz, you can have this conversation with us.
Yeah, you can talk to us.
You can talk to the only one here.
So my words are hard. This is how it is when we're actually recording a video and we're like, okay.
It would just be recorded. But this
wording is hard. Okay.
English is difficult.
Yes. My expectation, honestly, I tried to have like a clean slate and not like go into it like they better be as good as, X, Y, and Z. I've seen a lot of the Batmans, like, with like, what's his name? Michael Keaton, with my guy, Christian Bale. Thank you. He's my guy, but I don't know his name. Christian Bale, like George Clooney, like not as the old TV show with Adam West, but like just the Clooney and all of them. Yeah. So I'm like, each one is so different. So I was like, I'm gonna, go ahead and let it be great.
Yes.
I will say Robert Pattinson, I still have not seen the entire Twilight Saga. No, I watched one of my favorite YouTubers.
The Twilight Saga.
Sorry, I watched one of my favorite YouTubers. His name is Billy Binges. You should check him out. I just love him so much. He brings me joy. I watched him watch it, so I feel like I saw it. And so I was kind of like, this is gonna be great. And he's been in other movies. I just haven't, had the pleasure of watching them. So I was kind of like, I don't know what he's about to do. But then someone told you or something that it was really great and that people were having high expectations for it. So I was like, it's going to sway my thinking a little bit. So I tried to stay like,
she tried to stay as neutral as possible.
Yeah.
Had no expectations. So many Batmen were so good. So sucked. True. That's definitely fair. My expectations were high. Like, first of all, I'm not a huge Batman fan. Mm-hmm. But okay. Yeah, no, I'm not a huge Batman fan. I'll just say that. And don't come for me, Batman people, because he reminds me of Iron Man. And if anyone knows.
She don't like Iron Man. That's not her favorite guy.
He's okay. Robert Downey Jr. did great. He's just a spoiled brat. I just don't like it at all. Yeah. So he reminds me too much of that, of Iron Man. So I'm not really like the biggest Batman fan, but because I'm a super just hero fan, I will see really any superhero movie. I'll be right up in that theater, and it just looked good. Like the trailer, I was like, oh yes, I love me a good trailer. If you get me into it, I'm like, yes. So the trailer got me. So my expectations were pretty high. In terms of Robert Pattinson, when that was announced, I didn't really have anything. I know, yes, I know you love RDJ. I know that like a lot of people were like, they kind of judge Robert Pattinson because of his Twilight Saga days. This is the same reason why they judge Kristen Stewart for her Twilight days.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Kristen Stewart can act like that, but I heard she was fantastic in Spencer, the Princess Diana story. And I heard she was like really, really good. Like she, like, you know, people were surprised that it wasn't
She was like, I'll
nominated.
teach you to
yeah, people say that she was really good. I
I
personally
think
don't think she's like the best actress, even outside of the Twilight Saga. You know, she's not my favorite. But I never thought Robert Pattinson was that bad. I don't think I'm trying to think if I've seen him in anything else, but I didn't really have any preconceived notions about him. But then, you know, the movie came out, and I'm a part of a magazine in Philadelphia. And
shout out, shameless plug.
It was a shameless plug. See, she did not do that great in Charlie's Angels, though, Liz, to me.
I liked her in Charlie's Angels.
No, sis could not act. I was like, please stop. Go. It just was funny. I think she's just, when she's supposed to be serious, I start laughing because it's like, you know what I mean? But I guess you're talking about Spencer, Liz, for the Surprisingly Good. I did want to see that, and I did hear that it was pretty amazing.
Nice.
Actually. But I think, but people, I'm part of a magazine in Philly, so it's very, you know, being part of like the media, of course, you're going to hear a lot of stuff. And I heard that it was fantastic, you know, with this high score on Rotten Tomatoes. So
what was the score?
Like 94 or something like that. Something in that 90s, I'm pretty sure. And so I was like, oh, I'm ready. Now, the next one, did it exceed your expectations?
I'm gonna say yes. It did. It exceeded my expectations. Just, you know, across the board. I'm gonna leave it at that because we're gonna talk about, you know, the categories and stuff
like that. Yeah, it exceeded mine too, which is crazy to say because I had high expectations going in. I thought it was
already exceeded your high expectations.
It did. I was blown away. I was like, I literally turned to Chloe at the end of the movie and I was like, now that was a movie.
She did.
Like stressed out the whole way through.
She was stressed out. She was curled up. Like, we had the reclining seats and she was curled up and she was covering her whole face.
I looked over like, I don't like to see people get shot. Like, I don't actually like to see like.
Meanwhile, I'll be like.
Yeah, I don't like to see the actual like, you know, actual people, like, you know, the bullet impacting people. Not my cup of tea. I will go see a movie with it, but I will, if I can, I will cover my eyes so I don't have to see it and stuff like that. But yeah, I was curled up in a ball. I was definitely stressed out the entire time, but you know, it's okay because it exceeded my expectations. Okay.
Nice.
Woo! Okay. So we're gonna go into not question every time. I know I was, Liz. I was.
She was curled up. I was like,
I was looking at my legs and I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And I literally kept turning to Chloe like,
and I was like, girl.
This movie had my heart going.
It was all over the place.
All over the
for
place.
Sure.
All right, so we're going to be talking about some major categories. We're comparing it to The Dark Knight. So if you guys don't know, the Christopher Nolan trilogy. That includes Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. I did watch all three again in the last 48 hours.
Wow. That's dedication.
I watch movies on a regular, consistent basis. And so this is nothing. I forgot how great the Christopher Nolan trilogy is, especially The Dark Knight with the Joker and the Heath Ledger. Yeah. I was like, that was some top tier cinema right there.
Yeah.
For sure. So we're going to compare the two because whenever there's like, I think a new Batman movie, they always compare it to the Christopher Nolan trilogy because that's like top tier. And so even with, I think when that Joker movie came out with, what's that guy's name that played the Joker? Yes. Even when he came out, they compared him to Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Because That was like, may he rest, because that was top. He was a top tier Joker.
Yeah, it was like, what's he gonna do?
Exactly.
Is it gonna be as good as
exactly? Which is, it sucks that people do that, but you should leave a movie, let it be. But comparison is a natural part of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna compare. We're gonna do cinematography, the score, acting, and then we're gonna compare the Batman's
and the
Gotham and Bruce Wayne's.
Okay.
All right. So cinematography.
I think it was it was a beautiful film. It was dark. It was very dark.
Like literally and
figuratively. Yes. It was very dark. And I remember at one point we were in it's a scene, sorry to the spoilers. It's a scene where Batman, where does he come into? Somewhere, and it's like he cuts the lights.
Oh yeah. It was in
it was in the club, right?
Yeah, the club scene.
It was in that club.
You're not talking about the opening fight scene.
No. He cuts the lights in the whole building, and the goons, I'm gonna call them for lack of a better term, were like shooting at him. So the only light you could see was the light that is coming out of the gun when they're shooting. And like then in the flashes you see him kicking everybody's butt, and they're shooting right at him, and he's like,
taking it,
guys,
like
stop shooting, stop wasting your bullets. I remember that like Takura looked at me and was like, that was a great scene, or that was like well lit, or something like he said.
Yeah. I know what scene you're talking about. There's so many scenes. I remember that scene specifically of how well did it end. The first when I said that, she was like, that was dark. That's what she said.
It was so dark. I was like,
yeah,
just like I was trying to follow him in the lights of the gunshots, but I think like it was, what'd she say?
Compare Catwoman. Oh yeah, the Catwoman's too.
We should.
We're gonna add that too.
Right,
Thanks, Liz. Yes.
That
was important too. Yes. Okay.
But yeah, other than that, like I think my favorite part was another thing we'll talk about. So I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Yes, I do think it was beautifully shot. Like even just like the little nuances of the shooting here and there were just, I think, really, really great. And especially if you want to compare it to The Dark Knight, I do think I think it captured the darkness of Batman, because Batman is a really dark character. I see why people are fascinated with him. Like I never got the fascination until I saw The Batman. Mm-hmm. I see why people are fascinated with him, because he's really like, he's got some darkness in him. He's not your typical like light superhero. I think a lot of superheroes have darkness in them, but they just go about it in different ways. But Batman has and I think they really showed that even in the shooting shots, like he uses the darkness to his advantage. Mm-hmm. And so the film was showcasing that literally and figuratively.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. He uses darkness to his advantage.
Yeah.
Especially like every time, like when they had especially in the beginning, when he was doing his little narration, his little monologue, and they had the bat signal in the sky, and he was like, I emerge from darkness or something like that. And like every petty, as they said, because I watched another one of my favorite YouTubers who was telling me all the things I missed. Like the petty crimes, like the group of people who had the paint, who were beating up that one guy, or the guy who robbed some kind of store. Like everybody was kind of like, and every time like you see them stare into darkness, like is he about to come out of? And it was like, it might be, I don't know. And then he did emerge eventually from darkness to beat up that group of thugs who was trying to beat up everybody. But that's really the point. He did use the darkness too, because it's true. Like if he's completely covered in darkness and he emerges from darkness, you don't know where he's coming from. So it's really scary for a criminal. You're like,
and it just showed the darkness of Gotham, which we'll get into later too. So I do think it was really, really pretty in terms of like, all of that and stuff like that. So that was good. All right, the score.
Child, that's my favorite part.
It is my favorite part. The music did not help me being stressed. Like whenever the bad guy, the Riddler was talking, who did phenomenal. He creeped me out. Yes. To the T, like nightmares.
I was like, is he like this? For real?
Like he literally, if you want to compare it to like Heath Ledger's Joker, it was like he became one with the Riddler, and I was just like, I don't know if I trust this man.
I
if
know.
I ever see him in
trust
a movie,
him in any other movie, I'll be like,
he bad. He about to kill somebody. He can be the nice. He can play the husband.
Like,
he about to kill.
Watch your back.
Watch your back.
Watch your back.
Exactly.
You don't know what he going to do.
Exactly. Every time he talked, like there was one scene when he was, they caught him, even though he wanted to get caught. So they caught him in prison, and he was talking to the Batman. I think, right? Yeah, he was talking to Batman, and he was giving his little monologue speech about his plan and how basically it wasn't over. And when I say to you, I was stressed out.
That's when she was curled up in a ball.
I was, because it's like they were. Not only was he talking just really creepy like, but it's just every like score, every like note was intricately placed to make you feel like, yeah, you knew it wasn't over.
Yeah.
It's like it reflected the mood. Like every scene, I think every note reflected the mood of the scene, which was just creepy.
Yeah.
And it just did not help. It was like a character within itself. It just did not help my anxiety.
It was like, I remember this one part that it's a common theme. Like, so sometimes in movies, there's a thing, I think the German term for it is like leitmotif. Is basically when a character is at all present on the screen or in stage, when they're on the stage, it's a certain melody line or some kind of melodic theme that will always be present when they're present. So it goes with them when they go. So like the theme that was present for the Riddler, I think it was either Riddler or the Batman. I forget which one it was, but it was like just one note on a string instrument that was just like,
wow.
and like with all this booming,
that's that music,
like all this booming, like other music, and it's kind of like it's like kind of causing panic because it's almost like a shriek. It's kind of like, and you know, my plan is not.
Oh, child.
And you're a part of my back. Like, and it was like I was like the score again. And I honestly, I had a thought when we were watching. I was like, I wonder how amazing this would be, like on the opposite, like if it would be this amazing if it was like no music in some of the Batman scenes, like when
hey Melinda,
when he was walking in slow motion like every single time, because the Batman don't know how to walk fast. And
oh my goodness, when I say this Batman movie, it was just like, are you want to speed this up, sir? Because
right, and he's walking, it's his music, and it's like, I'm like, dude, get there. But
I think they just added to his darkness.
But I think I'm like, if he was walking in slow motion and all we heard was his footsteps, and this music was like, if it was different music, I'm like, it would visually be like, oh, look at him, he's doing it slow motion.
For sure.
But the music like added to it, made us be like, something's about to happen. Like every time he was present, every time his theme, every time the Riddler's theme, you're like, oh God, what's he doing? Every time he popped up in a little camera phone or a webcam, and it was like, here's his music. It's like, oh God. It is like, oh my God.
No,
I was like, it's my favorite part. And then the fact that it was Michael Giacchino, like he's amazing.
I don't know who that is, but like he deserves all the awards, because like, if y'all don't know, like I'm a huge MCU fan, but I've never really commented about the score on an MCU movie. But this one outdid any MCU movie I've ever seen, because
it like she says,
it was like a character, and I love that they did that. They made it its own, and that's what music should be. Like I think in a film, it should add to the film, not just sounds like some random, like I don't know, like instruments in the background that don't make sense to be there. No, this one I was just like, I literally turned to her and I was like, the music is not helping me right now, and I don't like it.
It was that point where I was like, this is the best.
This is the best thing ever. Okay. Yeah. So yes, yes, Liz and Belinda making a date.
I'm cracking up.
Yeah,
y'all should go see that movie and tell us how y'all feel.
And tell us how it is. And if y'all need someone else to go with, y'all can ask me, because I kind of want to go again. But it's okay if y'all want to have a date. It's fine. It was that good. But it was 3 hours. I just want to let y'all know that. Prepare your spirit. But I know this is not what we're going to talk about. It did not, like, it felt like 3 hours, but it also didn't. So what I mean is, it's like I knew, like, when it was going on, I was just like, okay, this is a long movie. But at the end of the movie, I was like, I kind of want more. It can be another hour if y'all want.
I'm not trying to keep us all night.
I did. I wanted more. I literally at the end of the movie, like I was just like, I know it was 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I knew, like, in the middle of it, I was like, okay, this is a long movie. Like, we still have a long way to go here. But then a part of me was just like,
Can I say I didn't feel the 3 hours at all.
Yeah,
I didn't at all. And even like I didn't go this long movie like every time because I was like things still need to happen.
Yeah.
So, like when he
wasn't focused.
He went after the first guy, the mayor, and then when I feel like especially because we saw him attack the DA in his car, and of course he didn't show up for a long time. So I'm like every time something he like alluded to something, I'm going to do the next thing, and then it was like you're trying to figure out the next puzzle. I'm like, no, we got to figure out what's going to happen. We got to do this, and I'm like, there's still more that needs to happen. Much more. So like I didn't feel it. Like honestly, when he got arrested the first time, but he was smirking, I was like, we're not done. When he easily gave himself away, he had that little smirk. I was just like, it just wrapped up too easily. Like I'm not gonna lie, Infinity War ruined me because the way that ended. Yeah. Like, and just that everybody died, or half of the population died, including half of our favorite superheroes. Mm-hmm. I legit was just like, I'm scarred for superhero movies now. So now I'm just prepared that things just don't wrap up easily in superheroes movies now. So when he got caught, I was like, no. This doesn't feel like the end. Yeah. And by that point, we already had been there for probably a couple of hours. Probably. When it should have been the end, but I was like, no. Yeah, it was a whole other thing the end. Because of how brilliant. I know we're not talking about the villain's plan, but because how his plan literally was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get caught, but I'm still taking down Gotham from inside the cell because of the bombs I planted, because of the people I have encouraged online, my community. It's weird because it made it seem like such a sweet thing. Like my community online, you guys have supported me. It seems like a great thing for someone who has seemed to me has a mental illness. So I was like, that's beautiful, but it's not because y'all are planning to massacre and murder people. So I'm like, you made it sound so nice. Like I just want to. He even like when he said his little sign-off message, like I just want to thank y'all for your support. Yeah, for hanging in with me on it. I'm just like, I'm sorry, what? And then I think that's we bring in shotguns, and then we bring in this, and it was like, wait a second. And I think that's the crazy thing. Like when it came to the Riddler, it made kind of sense in a way of like how he was mad at the rich people. Yeah. In his brain, I get it. Like he's like, y'all said y'all was going to help us and y'all haven't. Right. Like in Gotham, which you know what, we might as well just talk about Gotham now, right? Yeah. Uh-huh. So Gotham City is like darkness. Like I was telling a friend of mine, like Gotham is like Philadelphia on steroids. Like I feel like the comic book writers who decided to write Gotham, they legit was just like they had to be in some dark place in their in their life. I don't know, because the way Gotham City is just like it's completely dark. Just think just the worst thing possible and think of that is happening every single day. Yeah. And so I was going somewhere with that, and I kind of forgot what we were talking about. I know, right? What were we talking about? We're talking about him and his community, and people showing up to kill people. And so Gotham is dirty. So I can see why maybe he's just like, these people who want change are like, okay, you're going to help us. You're going to help us, people of Gotham City here, to make it not so dark. Yeah. But they never did. It's just like the rich people keep getting richer, and you're not really helping us, like, the poor people on these streets of Gotham. Like, you're not doing anything for us. Right. So I understand why he felt the need to take matters into his own hand. Wrong way to go about it. Nobody says murder. It's the right way here. Run for mayor. Run for city council. Exactly. There are right ways to do this thing. But I understand why his brain went to that place of like, I have to go to the extremes to get my point across right now because y'all not helping us. Y'all not helping us poor people in Gotham City, and I don't like it. And it's crazy because he legit took out one of the biggest crime bosses in all of Gotham. Falcone, Carmine Falcone. Yeah. So he literally, and the thing is, it was kind of like, I'm confused because I mean, nobody would stand up to him, and he was like, I own everybody. He is secretly the mayor, and it was like,
yeah.
So he kind of got rid of the crime boss, but it's like I'm conflicted. This is how they did it. This is how well this villain is sculpted because it makes you be like. You got the mayor
on that
side. The mayor and the DA in Falcone's
they was
pockets, and
they was all on the wrong side of the law. Even the people that you thought was on the right side of the law were on the wrong side of the law.
Oh, I forgot about the other guy, the one who he was the commissioner, right?
Oh, the commissioner, yeah.
The one who was yelling at Batman. I was like, "Sir, I need you to calm down," because in other movies, Gordon is the commissioner. So
exactly. So clearly, he took him down too. He died, right?
Yeah, the commissioner.
That's how Jim Gordon became commissioner because
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think he got shot.
I don't remember.
I
it was
don't
something
know.
Crazy. No, he was the one with the thing around his face. Wasn't he with the rats?
Oh yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to him.
Sorry to
this man.
sorry to this man. No, but Gotham is dirty. So just to compare the Gothams of the Batman and the Dark Knight, I definitely think the Batman does it much better. So for those of you who may, say it again, I did watch the trilogy, the Christopher Nolan trilogy recently in the past 48 hours or so. So to get a really remembered view of it. And that Gotham City, while it was, dark, they didn't really show it as dark as the Batman. Like the opening sequence of the Batman was crime.
Yeah.
Like people dying.
Corner, like people getting
stabbed, stood up, robberies, like just young black men in gangs, like just robbing, like you know what I mean? They showed this young black man in a gang, and he didn't want to beat up this. He wasn't really trying to be a part of it, but it was the way to survive. It's almost like the way to survive is to become a criminal in Gotham City. And that's what they were kind of showing, and I think they really did a great job at showing like this Gotham just seems very hopeless.
Yeah, yes.
And the Dark Knight Gotham, I don't think it didn't seem as hopeless. Like there's still something there.
They show other people who weren't really totally essential to the overall plot. Like I know in Batman Begins, you have like in the beginning where you have him on the train with his parents. And you have other citizens going to work.
Yeah, for sure.
His dad is like, we built that thing as a beacon of hope, and there's still hope. Even like cinematically, how it's shot, there's more color.
Definitely more color in the
Christopher Nolan. So like
it's
in
brighter.
This one, it's just straight up like black. There's like little tints of orange, but it's like black and gray. It's really like almost grayscale. So it shows that it's just like it. Like visually looks like there's no hope here. Yeah. Like you're right, it just made it look so much more like
hopeless. Like just like there's nothing. And at this point in time, too, Batman was all about vengeance. So if you guys don't know, the Batman, so the one that just came out, is based on the comic book Year 2, which is just about Batman's Bruce Wayne's life as Batwoman, only his second year as Batman. So it's his beginning years. If you guys don't know, Batman came back. He went away for like a long time to like study and train, and then he came back, and this is how he decided to protect Gotham, was do Batman, right? So this is showing his Year 2, and at the beginning of his stint as Batman, he was always about vengeance. So he was not really caring about he wasn't necessarily caring about hope. So I think the Christopher Nolan trilogy was all about Batman being a symbol of hope.
Yes.
And this one wasn't really caring about that. Not yet, At the end, he realizes that there's more to life than vengeance. So I think that in the sequels, we'll see him become more of the hope in like maybe the Bruce Wayne persona. But this one, he was all about vengeance. So I think that that's why it was also so dark. Like Batman also was dark. Like he was also hopeless, kind of. Too. So it got to add it to.
He probably saw it as hopeless because he even as Bruce Wayne, it seemed like he was still very much so dealing with the death of his parents.
For sure.
Even though
it happened years before.
It happened when he was a child. So I know they didn't change that part of the storyline. So I know it happened when he was a child, but it seemed like he went away, but it's still not because he's back in the place where they were. And especially with what's his face targeting Thomas Wayne in the news and targeting Bruce Wayne, even though he was like, oh,
it took him back.
targeting himself.
Yeah.
And then it hurting Alfred, it was way close to home. So it really was like all about vengeance. Like, no, you will pay.
You're going to pay for this because you murdered my parents.
Period. Like,
or he thought that he, because I don't think they ever, I think Alfred kind of was like, they don't know if it was really, because it was just some thug that shot him. So we don't know if the thug was sent by like the crime boss Falcone or not, right? I think that's what Alfred was telling him when he was in the hospital. First of all, can I just say they was about to kill Alfred? I was pissed. I was like, you don't kill Alfred. Like,
I was like, you don't have Andy Serkis be in a film as himself and then have him die.
I know, he was so cute.
Like, don't waste Andy Serkis like this. Like,
you don't do that. I mean, he did die in wasn't he in Black Panther?
He sure did
so
die.
He did die in Black Panther, but it's okay though. He was a bad guy.
He was in the Avengers before he died in Black Panther, so it's okay. He still had a little bit like.
Was he in Avengers?
Remember Wanda and what's his face? What's her name? Wanda and her brother. They went to get him or something. I don't know. With Ultron, they went all to talk to him because he had the vibranium.
Oh, yeah. So he was a bad guy though in the Avengers. So we're gonna let that death pass. But this we're gonna let that go. But this one though, he was Alfred. You don't kill Alfred. But you know that
because Bruce needs him.
But you know that. But the thing is, he did get hurt. But you know that he wasn't going to die because Alfred is a key part of Bruce Wayne's story, and Batman's story. He cannot do Batman
Bruce Wayne for that matter
without Alfred. And so, you kind of knew that he wasn't going to he was going to survive. He got blown up. It was meant for Bruce. But he just happened to be there.
And because he was loyal, it's like for Bruce's eyes only. He was like, well, I'm opening
this, Jordan. This is my eyes.
I am Bruce Wayne. Give me that.
And so that was great. So I would say Gotham definitely. All right, so we're gonna move on to the acting comparison. We already talked about the Riddler, who was phenomenal. So we're gonna talk about he did very scary
and just the way he delivered lines and it was everything.
It was so good. Child chills. Next to him, that man, he needs to be in more stuff.
He does.
I mean, he might be in a whole bunch of stuff that I just don't know.
He might.
I don't know this man's life, but sorry to this man, but the man, he needs to be more stuff. He was fantastic. Yeah. But acting of Robert Pattinson versus Christian Bale in terms of just Batman, I guess. Or just acting in general. And then we can compare the Batmans and then also compare the Bruce Waynes. So you want to go first? Acting. How do you think Robert Pattinson did in comparison to Christian Bale?
I think he did a good job. I think that the differences in character portrayal may have come from the eyes and the brain of the director. So I think the most difference for me, that's not a sentence.
You know what? We'll make it one.
The biggest difference, that's the words. The biggest difference for me, honestly, was the portrayal of Bruce between Robert and Christian. And I think that was just based on what time, what the time period was for the character at any of those times. So, I mean, because Bruce Christian in the first one, he was kind of removed, but he was already into that Playboy joint, and especially into Dark Knight, he was fully I'm Bruce. Hey, I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna buy that, and I'm buying all the things, and all of y'all are coming with me. And he not where it's bad, but he was just just a playboy billionaire. Whereas this one, he's kind of depressed. He's almost emo. His hair was constantly just like this the whole movie, and he was like, I don't need you, Alfred. And he had darker eyes.
He was like an emo teenager.
He was. And I was like, how old are you?
Mad at his parents. Mad at Alfred just because his parents.
He was like, those are not your cufflinks. And Alfred was like, your daddy gave you that.
Alfred's like, look, I don't want to take care of you either. All right.
So we bound together.
We bound together for life.
And I was like, when I was in the theaters, I was like, I don't love this portrayal of Bruce, but I know this is from the director's mind. This is the part of life where he wasn't I'm Bruce Wayne. He was kind of really secluded. We didn't get a lot of Bruce, honestly. We got mostly Batman, which is good because it was called The Batman, so it's mostly about him. But the little I did see, I think he did a good job of being a depressed
Be a
depressed man, a depressed emo teenager.
We're just calling him a depressed. Hey, we're calling him a depressed teenager because that's what he was. Even though he probably was a 30-year-old man, but that little boy was not feeling life.
I gotta figure out what this is. I don't need you, Alfred. You're not my father.
He wasn't. Just imagine like
Alfred was
black
like,
makeup just all just smeared down his face. It's like,
yes,
sir,
Alfred
get your
was
life.
like, sir, can you clean up? People are coming to the house. I don't want them here, Alfred. It was like,
yeah.
Boy, we got stuff to do. You have
and I think but I think that was purposeful. So on on TikTok, I saw someone compare the comic book version, and there was a section, and I think it was there's so many different iterations of the Batman comic book. Like there's so many different Batman comics. And so there was an issue, and I think it's not just based on year 2. I do think that it's also based on different, like pulled in pieces from other.
Okay.
And there was one Batman comment where he was exactly like that. He was very emo teenager.
Well, shout out to you, Robert.
The hair, just dragging on his face, like walking around like this the whole time with this. He like a permanent like sad face. Like man, like do you smile? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what they were going for. He did a great job.
He did a great job.
I believed emo teenager for sure.
But I definitely think that I think they did it purposely because, and I think the reason why they also didn't show the Bruce Wayne that much is because the Bruce Wayne person wasn't really fully there yet. So what we see in Batman Begins is they kind of have the same conversation. Like Alfred tells Bruce in Batman Begins to basically maintain his persona of Bruce Wayne, right? And so I think in Batman Begins it's just different because it just happens really fast. So he's just like, I agree. And then next thing you know, fine Christian Bale comes out with his suit on. I was like, Christian, come to me. Okay, sorry. I did. I was watching this.
Pray for her in the comments.
I was watching this movie. I was like, yo, Christian Bale is fine. I forgot how handsome this man was. Yeah, I know, he'd be fine. And so he got that cute little like smirk smile. Yeah. And so I think it just happened so quickly. But this one just happened to be, I think, spread out more. Like the change just didn't happen that quickly. So they had the same conversation, Alfred telling him to get his life together, that he still has to maintain this this personhood of Bruce Wayne. And I think in the second movie, I think we'll see more of that. But he was so consumed with vengeance. That's why I think in the movie, he actually did not call himself Batman. And I don't even know if Alfred called him Batman. He would always say, like, I'm vengeance or I'm this.
When I say, who are you?
They didn't necessarily say I'm the Batman until like the very end. I think when the vengeance part, when he realized that life is not about vengeance and he can't let it consume you, I think that's when you really heard somebody say like, I'm like, he's like the Batman and stuff. So he wasn't called the Batman. He was just called Vengeance because people didn't really, I think we saw on the creepy guy Riddler's in his little cave that he had with all his plans. When he was trying to figure out who the Batman was, it was written on there like the Batman, but he wasn't calling himself that because that's not what he was at the moment. And so I do think that I think that was purposeful. I think they really tried. And Robert Pattinson did great but I actually really enjoyed, I think, his Batman over, I think I enjoyed his Batman over the Dark Knight Batman. Oh, wow. But there is a difference. So the Dark Knight is especially if you want to talk about the second movie, that's years, that's when he's well established as the Batman. He's vibing in his role as a protector of the night. Yeah. That's what he's doing. And this one is just, he's not there yet. He's young, he's fumbling. You can see that in the fighting style when the Batman was fighting. A lot of people got a good couple hits in. And I think it's because he's still trying to figure out really how to do this thing. And I think that's purposeful. So it's hard to compare the two. But if I'm comparing maybe the Batman to Batman Begins, if that's going to be the closest comparison, I think I like the Batman. You could his eyes were just dark. He's just staring at you, the Batman. I just be like, you know what? Take all my money. I just take me to jail because clearly I'm done here.
It's a good point because based on that timeline, it made me think of how when people see the Batman, they're supposed to run. So like some of them did, but like that gang in the beginning, they took him on.
They tried to, and he was fumbling around though a little bit. The Batman, he did because it's the Batman, so of course he's gonna win.
And
but
they shot him. Yeah. I just appreciate that they didn't bother being like worried about being shot at. Like I love how it was just like it's bulletproof. Let's just move past it. Like people kept shooting him, and it was like except for at the end when it was at close range with a rifle.
Yeah.
So that's realistic.
That was realistic.
But I love how it was not like because a couple times like Batman, even in the Dark Knight, when I think Harvey Dent was the one who shot him, and he actually fell.
He did.
Because I think it's more so from the impact of it.
Yeah,
not that he actually got. But I'm glad they were like, okay, he has on armor. It's not gonna.
It is. Yeah,
I'm like, let's move past that. We have to be like, oh no, he fell. Like we didn't have to do any of those. Like, did he just get shot? Is he dead? It was like,
yeah. I think it's just like it's like a bulletproof vest. Like when somebody gets shot with a bulletproof vest, it doesn't stop you from falling because the impact of a gun is still like it's still an impact. But it just stops the bullet from piercing your body and killing you. Which is important.
This one must have been like double, triple air because it was like bang, bang, bang. He was like,
he was just out here. He was out here
anyway.
Yeah.
This is what I look like when I fight.
We're not gonna have Chloe get in the fight ever.
Okay, I think it'll be a problem for somebody.
We'll call the Batman for that. I wish, sometimes I'll be wishing. I was like, I wish we had a superhero that could just pop up. But you know what? That's not
have so many problems because just because of even with the police force, who in every version of that, they don't the mass vigilante operating his own
because he has no rules. That's the thing.
Rules. And even as vengeance, he really could be beating up anybody and all this stuff. But even Ben Affleck's Batman, he was definitely more violent.
Sorry.
I didn't love him.
Y'all don't have to watch.
I didn't love him as Bruce Wayne though. I think it's just because I was so used to debonair playboy Christian Bale. It was kind of like,
and I think that's the problem because I know a lot of people were saying that about this Batman. Mm-hmm. They didn't love him as Bruce Wayne because I think people are just used to Christian Bale. Mm-hmm. And so I was talking to a friend and I was trying to tell him maybe it's just this is based on earlier years of Batman when he wasn't really concerned about Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. He was concerned about his vengeance and enacting that. He didn't care about this persona or anything like that. And I was like, I think the Bruce Wayne persona is going to come as the movies go on and as he becomes more hopeful that he can be a symbol. But I was like, right now, that's not what he's concerned about. No. I'm trying to. But the only thing that he the only rule that he followed was that he don't kill. He doesn't kill the bad guys. Mm-hmm. He just follows his own. He'll do he might break a couple laws to get to the bad guys.
And a couple bones, okay.
And a couple bones, but he won't kill them. Yeah. That's the only rule I think that he has.
So, yeah.
All right, so moving on. So we compared the Batman and the Bruce Waynes. And Gotham. Was that it? Was that what we wanted to do?
Liz wants to talk about Catwoman.
Oh, yes, Catwoman, before we go into whether or not which our rating and which one do we choose. Hi everyone. Thanks to our friends for joining us.
Shout out to our friends who love us.
You love us.
And we love you.
Yes. Catwoman, right? So
Catwoman.
The Catwoman I guess Anne Hathaway was the Catwoman in the Dark Knight trilogy. And then you had Zoe Kravitz was the Batman was the Catwoman in the Batman.
Did you know? It's not a funny fact. Fun fact. Apparently, Zoe Kravitz. Wording is so hard.
English is so difficult.
Apparently, Zoe Kravitz auditioned for Catwoman / Lena Kyle in the Dark Knight trilogy, and they didn't like her because of the color of her skin.
She was too urban. She was too. That's what she said. Now I just say, look at her now. And look at me now. Hey. Look at me now. Hey, I'm getting paid.
Oh, good.
Look at me now. Look at me now. Fresher thinner. We don't curse, so
Okay.
It was the head probably.
Selena / Catwoman.
Yes, Selena Kyle.
If I'm honest, I feel like I didn't have enough
Really?
of
Okay.
Catwoman doing Catwoman things. I feel like she just
Okay.
kind of appeared. I think she did a good job in her role as it, but I think like the way it was written,
Yeah.
the way she was written in, it was kind of like
Hmm.
she would pop up. She did break into the guy's house, and like she was obviously mostly focused on finding her friend. And then it was like, Falcone's my dad.
That was a plot twist from the plot of from the twist of I don't know
the
where.
twist is plot.
When they said it, I was like, plot twist out loud in the theater.
Yeah, literally, she did.
I was like, plot twist.
And it was like, oh, what in the world? And then it was like, I'm gonna kill him, and he owes me his money. And it was kind of like, you're not adding to the overall. We need you to help take out the Riddler. But you know, she
helped at the
end. She did help, but she
saved his life.
Right.
She saved Batman's life at the end.
She did. But I think throughout most of the film, she's kind of like, boop, Catwoman. Boop, boop.
Yeah.
She did a good job. I'm just saying the way she was placed in the film, I was kind of like, do I want more? Do I need her to be more of an essential? Or would it have mattered if she was like more involved? I don't know. It just seemed kind of like random when she would pop up.
What did you like Anne Hathaway as Catwoman? Love Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, shout out to Anne. Hey girl.
She's great.
Yeah, I think her portrayal of it is good too. It was kind of, I think her portion was it's just as little. It wasn't as random though. I feel like she popped up and it served as excluding Zoe's presence in the end where she helped, but like in Dark Knight or whatever movie she was in. So I think she was in Dark Knight Rises only, right? Yeah. So I mean, she showed up and she served a little purpose, and she kicked Bruce when he was down. She's so rude. She stole his mama's, and she was Catwomaning. Like she broke into his safe. She somehow got on staff in his house. Who does it? She was Catwomaning. She was driving around her little joint with her little Catwoman joint, and she was like, boop. She was kind of, I feel like even Zoe's costume was like not fully cat. She had a whip. It was leather. Her mask was like, she didn't even have really pointy ears to be like, these are cat ears.
The crazy thing is the mask wasn't leather. I think it was cloth.
Yeah, it was like cloth. It was like a Scully.
It was.
She cut the eyes.
Yeah, it was like DIY. I am Catwoman.
It was, and maybe that's because of the timing. Like maybe because Batman was new, maybe Catwoman was new too, so she didn't have the full costume. Maybe that's why.
So maybe she'll come back.
And
because she left at the end, like this. And so maybe she'll come back fully developed.
I have little cat ears if y'all want to put them.
You know what? We do it if we out here doing DIY. We must.
I killed it. I could have been Catwoman.
Not you being Catwoman.
I'm gonna get him.
I mean, for real.
I could have worn.
The crazy thing is, I actually agree with you. I think we got enough of her. I don't think that like we didn't, but I do think that like she wasn't doing a lot of Catwoman things, and she was concerned about her friend a lot, like which to me felt like a storyline that maybe wasn't fully necessary or something. Like maybe that she could have did something else, like to contribute to helping. Her
friend wasn't even super important to the plot. It was too important to her. Like when we found out she was dead, it wasn't like dun dun dun. It was like
she died. We knew she was dead because she disappeared for like hours on end.
Like, she works with the Penguin. She's gone. Like
exactly.
It's a shame. May she rest in peace. May her character rest.
May her character rest in peace. But it just didn't. Yeah, that wasn't. But I think Anne Hathaway she definitely did more Catwoman, so she was stealing a lot, which Catwoman is a cat burglar. And so, but she's also very sensual. I think Selena was much more sensual than Anne Hathaway, which the thing is, Catwoman is a very sexy, sensual character. So I think Selena did good in that regard. Zoe. Sorry.
Selena's her character.
I know.
I'm like, they both Selena.
I think Zoe did better in the sensualness of Catwoman over Anne Hathaway for sure.
Yeah.
Not Halle Berry. Don't know what the
Everybody hates her. You know what?
Well, actually, I'm sorry. It was just how she written. Actually, if we want to talk about sensual, I think Halle Berry probably was the most sensual.
She was like,
and I think it was just how but I think she also over acted it. I think that's the thing. You can overact, and I think with Halle Berry, while she did great with the sexualness of the character, I think she overacted it to the point where it felt like a mockery of the character. And I remember because I watched it again, and I was just like, yeah, it was laughable. Is where the character became laughable. I think that's where Halle Berry went wrong.
Yeah.
I think,
and her storyline, like her falling out of a window and being breathed back to life by cats. It was like,
it was weird. It was the story.
And her name wasn't even Selena. Her name was Patience.
Yeah, it was just crazy how, like, it's crazy just how a written,
that's
like,
a cute movie. That's a very, like, corny, cute movie. That I want to watch that again.
It is.
And my boo is in it, Benjamin Bratt, whom I love.
It's just crazy how the writing of
yes, Michelle Pfeiffer. She is queen.
Yes. I think it's crazy just how writing can just change a character. You're just like, you know what? I think Halle Berry maybe did what she did.
She did what she needed to do.
She did what she was directed to do. Probably.
Yeah, because they don't be just doing whatever they want. It's the director's say.
You know, it possibly it did not work, but you know what? Hey, that was her. Yeah, I think Anne Hathaway versus Zoe. I don't know. I liked Zoe's and Rob's chemistry more than Anne and Christian's. Anne Hathaway's and Christian Bale's.
I will agree.
I think they have better chemistry. And, you know, if y'all don't like the bat and the cat, like the cat is the on and again, off again. Like, you know, they got this really toxic sort of vibe going on, the bat and the cat. But I like their chemistry better, Zoe and Robert's chemistry. So I think it definitely worked for that. To compare the two or to say who's best, I don't know. I honestly, I think they both were in a movie like
made for them.
No, like in a movie surrounded by a whole bunch of other fantastic characters. They kind of just got lost in the wayside. So in the Dark Knight trilogy, specifically the Dark Knight Rises, like the memorable characters are of course Batman and the villain. Yeah. So Catwoman kind of, you know what I mean? She's good, but she's competing against them. And in this movie, the villain Riddler and Robert Pattinson kind of take precedence over Zoe's Catwoman. Good, but you know what I mean? You're just kind of like, oh, okay. But we'll see what
and also Catwoman's there.
Yeah, it is also exactly. And Catwoman, she's great. Yeah, and but we'll see. Maybe she'll come back. So we'll see. Maybe. You know. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up and give our rating, and then put a little bow on it, and then let you know which one we would prefer. So 1 through 5, that's our rating. We've always done that, even on our channel. 1 is trash, 5 is this amazing, great, all this other stuff. So Chloe, what is your rating for the Batman?
The Batman. I made that up. I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Okay.
It's very good to me. I don't know why it's not a 5. I feel like petty like her.
That is what I said before.
I mean, she just don't be giving 5s. I think, it was a really good movie. I'm just gonna give it 4.5.
I'm giving it a 5.
Oh my god!
Phenomenal.
She is breaking her
5
streak.
out of 5. I can't, like, 10 out of 10 recommends. 20 out of 20 recommends. Like, go see it.
Go see that, Joan.
It was amazing. I don't know what else to say about it, but like, it will take you on a great ride. And I was like, now that is a movie for sure. So out of the Batman versus the Dark Knight, which one is better in your book? not her turning around trying to escape this having to make a decision. You know, she don't like making decisions.
I don't. I'm so loyal to Christian Bale and Christopher Nolan. Better. I know which one. Because first you said which one do I prefer.
I did. I just
then
said
you changed to this one better, which is a different question.
That is a different question, and you're gonna answer the better. Question.
You're gonna answer that one. I'm gonna answer the one I prefer.
No, it doesn't work like that. If you don't have an answer, that's fine, because you know why? I don't know the answer either.
Oh, good.
I thought the Batman was better until like I rewatched the Dark Knight trilogy, and I was just like,
It's a good piece of.
I
good
forgot.
piece of
This
work.
is a good piece of cinema
It's a piece
right
of
here.
work there.
That's top shelf cinema. I forgot how good that movie was too.
And how well it's just like
how well
out
it's
over all three
portrayed.
movies.
Exactly. Like I just forgot. Like just like in The Dark Knight. If I want to compare the Batman to Batman Begins, because if they're on the same level, the Batman is better. I think. But if you want to compare the Batman to The Dark Knight, which I think is
to the overall,
well, no, to
or just
the
to
movie,
the actual
to the movie. I think it's hard to compare those two because the Batmans are in two separate stages of their life.
Yeah.
So it is very hard to do that. But if you want to just compare the movie as a movie in general, if you want to take out the fact that there are two different stages, that's a hard decision.
I have to agree. I feel like I would say that the Batman is a little bit more a little bit more exciting than the Dark Knight, because the Dark Knight, Batman Begins because he has to start over at the origin.
Yeah.
Like we have so much. We have childhood. We got him coming back from wherever he came from. We got him being like, I'm gonna go and talk to drug people and be crazy. Then we got him join the League of Shadows. Like it's really an origin story. So it's kind of slow. It's more storytelling, whereas the Batman is more gets right into it. Because we didn't take time to be like, his parents were shot.
They're,
like, we know.
They're expecting you to know.
Yeah.
And I think it was just honestly,
That's
I'm gonna
why.
compare it to the Spider-Man movies. I think that is the same thing that they did when Spider-Man made his appearance in Civil War. They expected us to already know that Uncle Ben was shot.
Yeah.
Like they were like, we're not going to repeat this again.
We're not telling that
You know
story.
what I mean? We're going to have him say a little blurb for because I think in Civil War, he only been Spider-Man for like 6 months. So he said when he was talking to Iron Man or like Tony, he said like a little blurb of why he did what he did, and they felt that was enough, which I actually appreciate, because like we don't need to relive Uncle Ben dying again.
Yeah, so we all got it.
We got just like in this movie, we don't need to relive his parents dying again,
and him being feared by scared.
Feared by bats. We already know all that.
We know his motivation.
They're expecting you to know that.
Yep.
Which I really do appreciate that they just get right into the action.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's it. 10 out of 10, recommend this, John. You guys should definitely go see it. Tune in. Remember to tune in July the 7th. Our season 3 premiere is going to be a great and fun time. Help by all.
And you'll be hungry. And we're sorry.
That's going to be a clue, I guess, to what we're doing. You will be hungry. You'll be able to guess probably from that.
You should, because you already follow us on Instagram.
Exactly. Yes. Remember to follow us on Instagram. Is @_CT Review.
CT Review.
Yes, @_CT Review. Follow us on Instagram to keep up to date on everything that we have going on. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to like us, hit that notification bell to know when season 3 drops, which like we already said is July 7th.
You already know. Follow us.
Come follow us. That's what that is. You can't
say because of the light, but just basically you know what to do.
You know what it is. You know the vibes. All right. Thank you guys. We love you all. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
I want to be like an old lady and say, now how do we turn this on?
I mean, you did say it.